Hey guys, welcome back to another Coin Snobz video. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video just because we don't have an intro showing you the box of nickels that we got all this fun from. We recorded it and I have no idea where it went. I don't know if my phone hates me or what, or I just suck at technology, all of the above. But yeah, anyways. As you can see, and as you probably read from the description of the video, pretty decent nickel box. Better than we usually get, although I'll have to say that we've been doing pretty decent with nickels, to be honest. The past probably 5 or 6 months, we've had a couple of pretty epic ones. This one's pretty good. I wouldn't quite call it epic. Maybe one step below that, like legendary, I guess? I don't know. Nah, it's definitely not legendary. Anyways, let's start over here as usual. Left-hand side, give it a second to focus there. 2020 Denver with a good amount of struck through grease. Not a terrible looking 2020. You can kind of see where it's struck through grease. I know it's kind of hard to see it on this microscope. These LED lights kind of play tricks with it, but you can see pretty much, I would say, a good 40 to 50% of the obverse is struck through grease. Some down here. This is really dramatic down here on his collar. And below the date and the mint mark itself. And above Liberty. And I believe also there's some on the reverse. Nah, just obverse. And again, that struck through grease happens when whenever the mint worker has to actually polish the dies while they're working with them. It could be any combination of, they've found where it's been clashed together or whatever. I think they even routinely polish the dies just to kind of keep them going and keep them striking as good as they can and get as much juice out of the orange as they can, if you will. And a lot of times the polishing compound or grease is left behind, and it leaves a little bit of a space between the actual die itself and the brand new planchet where the metal can't flow into, and that's what you get. Then we have a pretty good row of 1940s, as in 1940s literally just 1940. Couple of different mints on here. I separated those from the other ones because they are the oldest ones that we found. I believe that's a Denver? Let's see here. Nope, that is an S. San Francisco. Cool. Another S. Awesome. But yeah, so we have 1, 2, both of those are S's. 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. 1940s, 1940. And then these are all going to be various 1940s, 1941 up. All different mint marks. Pretty decent amount of those. All usual circulated condition except for that nasty little guy right there. That ain't pretty. Nasty little rim ding there. And then over here, I did separate the 1950s. This is all going to be Philadelphia strikes. Not a whole bunch of those. But man, did we find a bunch of Denvers. And anybody that's been following us for a while knows me and Keith keep anything 1959 and back. And then if it's a decent mint state, anything like that, we'll keep it. Of course, if it's an older one, we'll keep it if it's about uncirculated. Anything extraordinary, obviously. But a whole bunch of Denvers. Nothing super notable in this row here. And this is even more Denvers. Started to go chronologically with them and then kind of just lost track. But you guys get the idea. And then only 1, 2, 3 whole coins that were San Francisco's. 54, 54, and 54. Yeah, usually we find more San Franciscos than that from the 1950s, but 3, whatever, we'll take them. Over here we have some decent mint state looking coins, or about uncirculated actually. And some of these have some steps on them. Decent looking 1953. Not gonna call it mint state, but I mean, for that old of a coin, and it's a Denver, not too shabby. Not for finding it in circulation. It does have some steps remaining. Probably used to have a lot more before it was circulated. And you see a lot of what looks like doubling, but it's not real doubling. It's machine doubling, or also known as strike doubling. Unfortunately, when you first see that, it kind of gets exciting, but it's not the real thing. They also call that poor man's double die. Yeah, look at that. At first glance, that'll make your heart skip a beat. But no, still cool to look at though. 1940 S, really nice condition, and not too shabby at all. It ain't pretty, but I'd say that's a solid AU. Maybe a really low mint state. I'd play it safe though and say it's about uncirculated. A little bit of damage over here on the rim, and looks like some metal flow issues right here around the left hand side of the D in God, and a few scrapes above to the left of the O in God. Overall though, it's not a bad looking coin, and it's an S. And at one point, looks like it very easily could have been full steps. I mean, for as old of a coin as that is and being circulated, obviously it hasn't been circulating its entire life, because that's pretty good shape. 1959. Nothing spectacular, but good looking coin. Not bad overall. Again, play it safe and say it's about uncirculated. Decent eye appeal though. A lot of mint luster still left on this one. Denver. And again, another coin that looks like at one point it could have been full steps. The only time you're going to see us keep a 1964, because there was so many of them made, is if it's a good coin. And this is a nice coin. Probably not mint state. If it is, it's real low mint state. Denver mint mark. Probably a high AU, but we just don't have the heart to get rid of it, put it back into circulation. We just can't do it. And then we have a couple of nice lamination errors. And a really nice lamination error it is. 1946. But you could see it literally starting from the 1 and 9 in 1946, going all the way up to... yeah, it pretty much makes it all the way to the other rim. And it is retained, hasn't been peeled up. Lamination again, I know most of you guys probably know what lamination and or a lamination error is, but basically when they make the blank planchets for coins, a lot of times impurities or gases or whatever get trapped inside there. A lot of different things can happen with that with the metals. A lot of the different things can happen with the alloys and the mixture of coins, and it creates weird stuff like this. So it's literally pieces of metal that are peeling off from each other. It's almost like if you would have a biscuit and you start peeling layers of the biscuit off. Same idea, only in this case, it's not your fingers, it's gases and or impurities that are making that separation. I think this one is, Philadelphia. And it's definitely an older die state to begin with. And it looks like, some really weird metal flow on the reverse. It's not lamination on the reverse, but this coin had to have been pretty interesting looking when it was... I mean, it's interesting looking now, but had to be really interesting looking when it was brand new, freshly struck. And this one's got that lamination on the reverse. 1952. Definitely a damaged coin. Really nasty damage there on his forehead. But we'll just stop looking at that and go back here to the San Francisco mint mark. And this piece of lamination right here. This is a really good example of lamination. You can definitely see how well defined it is there. And it's peeled off quite a bit more than the last example, but it's still retained. of course, by retained, it's still there. There's a lot of times that we find, especially buffalo nickels that are laminated, that have whole chunks missing out of them. It's always cool to find examples where it's still there. Couple of Canadian, a beaver, 1982, and 1989. Also, before I forget, keep forgetting to ask again, if anybody is out there interested in possibly trading some rolls of nickels with us from Canada, like bank-wrapped rolls, that would be really cool. We'd kind of like to go through some bank-wrapped foreign coins. And then down here we have some possible repunch mint marks. First one is a... Come on, focus, you can do it. 1947. And on that 1947, common circulated condition that we find quite a bit on these older coins, Denver mint mark. See, it almost seems like maybe there's the remnants of another D south of this one. I don't know. I mean, you guys know me. I sit there and stare at these coins for hours, and sometimes I see things that aren't there. This is probably just machine doubling. In fact, it looks like there might even be a little bit of machine doubling, or it could just be an older die state allowing metal flow in weird places. But I went on VarietyVista.com, couldn't find anything that matched it perfectly, but I thought I'd bring it to you guys' attention and see what you thought. Pretty sure I'm just seeing stuff. And a 1958. And on that 1958, she's a Denver. And again, it could just be an older die state or me seeing things that aren't there. Below the Denver and almost west of it, it looks like there could be another mint mark. It looks a little suspect, but I don't know. I'm probably just seeing things. Throw it down in the comments. What do you guys think? And then down here is the premium stuff. War nickels. It always rocks to find these war nickels. Again, these were struck latter part of 1942, creating a Type 1 and Type 2 in 1942, all the way through 1945, primarily because they were using nickel for armor plating on armored vehicles and I believe aircraft. Always easy to differentiate these from the regular ones with this giant mint mark above Monticello. And honestly, we can usually tell pretty quick when we open up a roll because it has a little bit of a special toning to it. Silver in the nickels, guys. Philadelphia, that great big P mint mark above Monticello. And 1943, P. War nickel number dose. Not too shabby. A little bit of pen ink right there below the 3. Who knows how long that's been there. Big old mint mark again. And in looking at it, looks like these are different sized Philadelphia mint marks. That one looks a little bit smaller than that one. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, this one's a little bit smaller. I don't know, the stuff that you see and don't see when you stare at coins for hours every day. Anyways, that's all we got for you this time, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. Of course, the best way to support the channel. Our view time and our actual views have dropped significantly lately. I don't know if that's a YouTube thing or what's going on. Maybe it's just the holidays and nobody's really into watching coin videos right now, but I mean, you know, whatever. Holidays is the holidays, and hopefully you guys are having a good holiday. But, again, if you haven't subscribed, please do it. Totally free. Helps us out quite a bit. Tick the bell if you want to get notification every single time that we do upload a video. Click the like because that tells YouTube that we're doing something right, or, you know, maybe at least a little bit interesting. Until next time, love you all, God bless, and we will see you soon. Stay safe, everybody.